I think that with a little bit of restraint, that Mountain easily could have taken that game.
Hyber, I do got to disagree with you just in one point here.
Mm-hmm.
And for Mount, I think that actually would have appreciated some sort of engage here to match against Leona. Something to just be a body when Leona comes in, maybe an Alistar, maybe something else to answer when the two frontliners were to start clashing. Because that's honestly what happened. Bard, of course, is good at dealing with, the carries of the backside when it comes to Graves and when it comes to Ezreal, especially when those mobility options are gone. But then the unfortunate part is that if you get jumped on, that's where things start going downhill. And that's what happened. The only source of hard engage that you'd really have is Gibble on the Jax, coming with that leap strike and that the leap and that counter strike onto the back line. But it's a very unreliable source of engage, if you will. I think everyone would agree to that. I guess the other part is just putting on the Orianna ball when Jax were to go in. But that's something that is very unreliable. And I think that's why it was really tough for a Mount to actually find those correct fights, because it was mainly only going to be off the curtain call, maybe off of Zaunt, Lilia, and the Lilting Lullaby, or maybe it was off of, the Temper Fate from Plux. But again, those are some pretty big ultimates from two of those members, even three of those members if you're counting APA Shockwave. And, I think that's where, if you were to have a source of reliable engage from a basic ability, from a different champion, it would have proved a little bit different for their match.
Absolutely. And honestly, I don't really know what more I can add to that. You summed it up so well in that lump thing. In general, I'm just looking forward to seeing maybe a more cautious Team Mountain in the game too. As I said before, I think a lot of their problems came from over aggression here. And now, as we are about to get into the draft, it is Mountain on the blue side and it is Ocean on the red.
Mountain did have some good lights in their side, Hyper. Gibble was winning the one-on-one against Rodolph from the early stages until basically almost to the end, until Ocean just basically started grouping up and forcing team fights off the Hextech Ultimatum and off the Solar Flare. But if Gibble were to get a good matchup again, I want to see if he can actually push it forward. The only time Gibble participated in anything with his team was in that fight around the mid, and he over-aggressed onto Yunbi and onto everyone else. So maybe if Gibble can shore up some of those issues, making sure his communication is correct when it comes to the side lane play, then hopefully that can all work out. Maybe if not that, maybe Mountain just needs him on the tank. They have played him on Sion twice. They played him on tanks overall so far. And he is, of course, one of the better weak side top laners in this entire scouting grounds, Honda scouting grounds. So I think that's maybe what Mountain wants to do if they're going to be making sure that Plux is getting, a caster support or something that doesn't have reliable engage.
Yeah, I agree with you completely there. You do have to get sort of those players on their champions that they like. As you said, Sion twice already this tournament for Gibble. We have seen those tanks work for him. So if you want to default to that here in this first pick phase, it's so easy to do that. Yes, he'll probably lose in the 1v1 in the top side, but look at that. They leave the Nidalee up, and it is actually Zaun that takes NXI's signature pick.
Okay, Zaun, I see you. Trying to impress NXI and be the one who can master the Nidalee. I honestly respect that a lot. Graves is again still on the table for NXI to take it if he wants to handle that matchup. But now we get to see Mount establish composition around the Nidalee. Of course, notoriously we've seen the Renekton Nidalee. We have seen CC in the mid lane, such as the Twisted Fate, that operates well with the Nidalee and operates well with the Renekton. So as long as you're picking any sort of chain CC, it'll be good for them. Renekton getting hovered, probably going to be picked. And if I'm trying to flex the draft, I would use this Renekton as a flex in the mid and the top lane. So we'll have to see what occurs. But another takeaway from Mountain, taking away the Ezreal from Yon, making sure that he doesn't get his comfortable champion. And finally, I think a team has opted to do that.
Absolutely. But on the note of that Renekton, this to me does not scream that it is an APA champion. This to me is not one of those mages that we have seen him on for God knows how long. This is a much different pick, one that's much more about the skirmishing, about the 1v1 potential. Overall, yes. I don't think that this is one that they're going to flex. I think that is a top lane Renekton here in that blue 2. Looking over on the side of Ocean, that is going to be NXI on the Lee Sin. And again, we know NXI pretty solid on the Lee Sin. I'd say it was one of those things where he was a pick that he sort of inherited there on 100 Thieves Next from Ken V, and he kind of made it his own. He showed that he was every bit as good on that Lee Sin as anybody in the league.
Yeah, one of the champions that is notorious for having a lot of skill expression in the champion, and kind of a testament for a lot of junglers on professional play to have a pocket Lee Sin whenever this champion were to come into the meta. So we get to see NXI on a different champion. I'm trying to remember if he did pick NXI throughout this scouting ground so far. I don't think he has. I think he's stuck onto the Graves and Nidalee and the Lilia so far. And I might be wrong. And Kindred, but I think this is going to be the first Lee Sin that we're going to be seeing from NXI. So if he gets those early game skirmishes, that'll be really good. I am wondering what Ocean wants to pick for their top laner here. Niles has picked the Quinn into the Renekton, and unfortunately against Team Ocean actually. So I will see what Roda wants to pilot against this Renekton. It'd be really cool to see a Quinn, not gonna lie. You get another source of solid DPS, but instead we're gonna be going in with the Gangplank.
Yeah, we get that classic match of Pirate versus Crocodile. We'll have to see who wins. Will it be the guns or will it be the giant god warrior crocodile person? On the flip side, though, for Mountain, of course, hovering Riven, that's just a hover. Looking at that matchup, though, that is a matchup that traditionally Renekton wins in the early levels, but the later you go in the game, the better Gangplank really is able to tango.
Ooh, Hyper, we saw the Ziggs get banned game 1. Now we get to see it in game 2. APA going to be rocking this champion here. Not having CC for the Nidalee, of course, but can definitely throw a 3-pointer from the mid lane to any side of the map where there is action. And in order for that 3-pointer land, you got to make sure that the score is basically staying stationary. So hopefully they pick some CC on the bottom side. They're going to need a reliable source of CC. Braum is one of them that fulfills that bill.
Well, and not just that, if you do have the Braum, that does give you a reliable way to handle the curtain call, as well as any sort of engage there, because you can just block things with the Unbreakable Shield. With that in mind, looking at what Ocean will pick for their top lane, they do get counterpick, obviously. They would have gotten it not for their mid lane. Why did I say top lane? I don't know. But as you said there, okay. Ahri. Okay, spicy pick here. This is a champion that we never see in professional play, just because of the fact that after the nerfs years and years and years ago, she hasn't really been seen as like someone who's competitively viable. She's seen as too mechanically simple and too easy to read. But this is one of Ahri's best matchups. I know because I've been Ziggs, and that is one of the worst matchups for Ziggs. I hate playing into an Ahri.
And that's why draft is so fun, Hyper, because when a champion wants to throw a curveball into the pool here, that means that you're basically giving a free champion to be picked on the opposite side, and that's why we see the Ahri being picked up from Yunbi here. I honestly, I'm trying to just remember last time I saw an Ahri. It's been a long time, Hyper. And we watch amateur games too. 7. And we watch amateur games too. I don't even remember an Ahri being picked in the amateur, much less the collegiate scene. So this is honestly a breath of fresh air. We get to see the Ninetale Spox come in to deal with the big bad bomb. So as long as we get to see what occurs, we get to see Yunbi flex in this mid lane. It'll be really good. But again, APA, his main job is to wave clear and to help out his sideliners. So as long as he could do that, he's getting his job done.
He absolutely is. And again, if you are this Ahri, you want to press the attack. If you are the Ziggs, you want to not die, because that's kind of hard in this matchup. But at the same time, look at these compositions for the teams. I just see early game bullying from the side of Mountain. I see another team on Ocean that wants to bully mainly in the mid game, but can also scale decently well into the late game with that Jhin and that Gangplank. I am so excited to see how this one develops.
Honestly, at the end of the day, both these teams have swapped from game 1 going to game 2. Game 1, it was like a full-on, we're both scaling, we're both going to take the handshake early game. But then in this game, we have the Lee Sin, we have the Nidalee, we have the Renekton, we have the Ahri. We have a lot of early game champions that function really well at level 6 here. So expect a lot of early game action. Hyper, you're getting your wish, man. I think you may have been a prophet because you were like, I want some kills. This is going to be the best game to get those kills right off the bat.
I want blood. I want to see the fighting. I am born and bred in NA. I am not used to this passive stuff. Even when I'm casting other regions, it's usually the LPL, which again, fight. Give me the blood. Give me the fighting. Give me the war on Summoner's Rift, which we are now on, ladies and gentlemen. Mountain on the blue side, Ocean on the red.
Yeah. Want to see any sort of curious level 1s that would occur right now? so far everything's looking okay. But yeah, you know, Zaun on the Nidalee, pretty surprised. NXI also on Lee Sin, also surprised. Both these junglers going to see if they can take it to each other.
Absolutely are. We are seeing the level 1 action here from these two teams, and it appears as if the side of Ocean are going to be the ones having to back off of this blue buff that they are warring over. Right now, the mid laners are going to start roaming over down here in a second, but blue buff resets.
A little unfortunate.
Yeah, ooh, that's going to be an engage there. It's going to be Joey going in, but right now it is Zaun burning down. He's taking a lot of damage. Both teams taking their licks, but it seems like no one is going to go down yet. There's not quite enough damage there. The spear barely misses, and that will be Yunvi walking away with his life.
Oh, thank God. Right now, we expect some level 1 shenanigans, and we definitely got those early game plays coming in from both these sides. Looking at pressure on all ends here. And this is where this game is going to be. We talked about the knife's edge that was happening in game 1. This knife's edge is going to be happening like literally starting now. Whoever gets that first kill, if it goes on a junglers, is going to be very important. Yumbi, unfortunately, losing flash is going to be a big thing that can punish in the mid lane if they were to capitalize on it. So we have to pay attention if Yumbi can take that pressure.
Absolutely. Right now, the pressure will be the name of the game here. It looks like that with just the push out, it will be NXI who got that little bit of advantage in terms of the jungle clear, because he was actually, in the end, able to get that first camp before Zaun got back to his. So he's going to be the one with that little bit of tempo and that little bit of speed added to his roaming.
Gibble already getting the better end of this matchup. We're already at a lethal here in this top side. So good stuff on Gibble flexing in this top lane here. Honestly, a little bit sad to see Rodov having an underperformance overall today so far, especially in their match against Infernal and against Tony Top here. We expected, I definitely think that a lot of people who were watching Rodov expected him to kind of be doing a little bit better in this matchup overall. He hasn't lost his flash, which is good, but instead he wants to take a one-on-one. But I mean, look at the trade on Gibble, man. He basically just did a gigantic hole in Meek with over 50 Fury and already knocked him back to 50% health.
Yeah, as you said, knocked down to 50% health. But at the same time, this is how volatile that early level matchup can be between the Gangplank and the Renekton. We know Renekton is the early game lane bully, but people often underestimate how powerful Gangplank can be at the early levels between Parlay and Trial by Fire.
Wave is going to be stacked up on Ocean's side, pushing into Spawn and Plux. So they could look to set up a freeze if they wanted to set up a gank for Zaun. Top side is the focus of attention. However, on the bottom side, as the input goes through, pretty sure they're not going to be going for a bunch of trading, as not going to be forcing lethal. Just want to get the wave under turret. So far, a lot of these guys are just looking to trade blows in all these lanes.
Yeah, but right now, I think it is Gibble taking the most blows. He's once again getting pushed out. He is ahead in CS, but he's constantly losing this health war against Rodov.
I really want to take a look at the jungle right now, because NXI are already pressuring in with both his lanes. Actually, a dive also happening on the bottom side, too. Man, action on both sides right now.
Yes, there is, as that will be first blood over to Spawn, but that is going to be a trade of kills thus far. It is a 1-4-2 in favor of Team Ocean, but Rodov trying to run away, as is Yon, the side of Mountain. They're not keen on letting them go. Spawn going to try and get those last auto attacks in. That's going to be his second kill in this exchange. 2 for 2 overall.
You punish Zaun on this jungle, but then a double kill for Spawn is so good for him. He's able to back up and get a lot of core items in his belt here. He can opt to pick up the Sheen now. He can pick up the pickaxe depending on what he wants to go for, especially if he wants to go for the poker, go for the sustained damage in Ezreal's kit. But getting 2 kills on a Spawn is so good on him, especially with a CS lead that he has already accrued here. 35-21 is very good on his end. So as long as Spawn makes sure he plays this way, he could definitely be a big carry threat on Mountainside.
Absolutely can. Now we are looking up at the top side. Gibble is really deep here, but NXI is waiting in the wings. Rodov is under his tower. He's setting up the barrels, and Gibble might have bitten off a little bit too much. He does take down Rodov, but he gets traded. Solo kills in the top lane. NXI not getting anything on there.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, Hyper, that NXI got no assist in that defensive play. Gibble, flexing a little bit on the top side. We rarely see any sort of solo kills like that occur. The last time I saw one was last night, unfortunately, during the reschedule, where Tony Top got a solo kill on a Rodov again. So good job on Gibble, but right now, very worried on Rodov, getting solo killed, not just last night, but also today, too.
Yeah, and those solo kills really are becoming the bane of his existence as this tournament wears on. As you said, got killed last night and now today too. You have to wonder, is it a trend or is it just, just rotten luck?
Honestly, you just got to shake off the tail feathers. Just make sure that you're focused on the game. Make sure you're focused on the win condition. So as long as Rodov can put that in his head and make sure that it's not about what happened in the past, it's about what's happening right now and what I can do to propel forward. It'll be looking good. And what's happening forward right now is Ocean. They're looking to take their first streak.
That they are. It will be that Cloud Drake that they take 10% ultimate CTR into their pocket, and the Ocean Drake will be the next one spawning, meaning that it will be an either Infernal Rift or it will be a Mountain Rift.
APA did actually opt in for the tier 2 in his build, so it's going to give a little bit more sustained damage. Not a lot of burst. Luden's Echo is usually the one you want to opt into, especially when using the Mega Inferno Bomb, but wants to go for more of that sustained damage throughout these team fights. As long as he can land those bombs, and there's a lot of people definitely have been sleeping on Ziggs, but he is honestly a very hard champ to go through. But before I get that action on the bottom side,
here we go again, as right there, looks like that's going to be the first kill over to Yawn. That will be Spawn going down, as well as Plux needing to retreat. Good kills by the side of Team Ocean.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate because Mountain was actually putting their attention on the top side. You see Zone and APA looking to just take away some camps up there. So a good little cross map on one side, but a better cross map from Ocean, as they're still looking to put pressure on a Rodov, looking to take some more plates on their side to make sure Gibble is able to establish pretty much lane dominance here. 58 CS to 22 right now. I feel so bad for Rodov Hyper.
I mean, yeah, we kind of expect this in Renekton versus Gangplank. We know Gangplank is supposed to have one of the weaker laning phase because all of his damage is in one ability tied to that cooldown, whereas a bully like Renekton has a lot of easily low cooldowns that he can just spam and spam and spam to help take down that Gangplank. But at the same time, the good thing for him is on the other side of the map, they're doing okay, especially with kicks like that. That's going to be Joey picking up Plux. Great play by NXI.
Okay, NXI, I see you. Your Lee Sin's kind of schmoovin', as getting a kick onto Plux, now pushing him to 0-2, and it's now looking to establish the top side. So if I'm Ocean right now, this is a really good opportunity to kind of pin down Gim and also to set up a dive. 4 members are on the top side. They have their sides on Rift Herald, yes, but honestly, with Gibble HP there, I think they missed out on a pretty big opportunity to force a dive onto the top side. Flash is already available on Yunbi. Rodov, doesn't have the cannon barrage, but Joey has all of his CC tools as well. So, I think they definitely missed out on punishing the winning side on Team Mon. But nevertheless, they're going to get the Rift Herald. Hopefully, they put some more gold back into Rodov's pocket.
Yeah, because the Gangplank does have a very expensive build. He needs a lot of gold to work with, especially when you consider the fact that Trinity Force is one of the most expensive items in the games, and that's just the first step. He has to get that to start getting online. So imagining with the rest of his build, it's really hard when you're down by a score of 30 CS against a champion that is only itemizing for that early split push already, because he does have that Bilgewater Cutlass, meaning that will be a blend of the Ruin King. It's going to be so hard to really take on Gibble for about the next 15 minutes if you are Rodov.
Yeah, speaking of gold hyper, Spawn does have a CS lead, and Gibble, of course, that's just, as you mentioned. So a little bit of lane kingdom right now, a side lane kingdom specifically for Team Mountain here. Even though it has a CS lead, the 2-1 in Jan's side is going to be equalizing the goal just a tad bit. We're going to go separating them. Even go separating the top side too. So that CS lead is a little bit lying. Plux has to back away.
Yeah, the kick was not, I would say, was back up yet. So the side of Mountain knew that Plux needed to get out of dodge. They grouped around him, made sure NXI was not going to experience Lee Syndrome. Yeah, does look like right now there is the positioning around the mid lane. Look at Gibble up on the flank. There's a teleport coming in from the side of Team Ocean. That is going to be a Zenith Blade missing. That's going to be the Foxfire Dash coming out. The Charm whiffs. Gibble is on the backside here, so it's going to end up being a 4v3. That is a kick. Actually, that is a dash to get Flux out. He's going to survive there. Yunbi's not. Flux finally goes down. NXI and Joey on the run, and that will mean that it is a 1-for-1, but easily going to be pressure in advantage of Mountain.
What surprise, Hyper, that Ocean actually opted into that play. They were burning a lot of resources to actually just force any sort of kill here. I wonder what the logic was to just finding any sort of kills. Maybe it's just kind of to target Plux individually, as he is the one who has the most deaths, and play the mental game, if you will, against Team Mountain. But you don't really want to get punished here. Rodov, unfortunately, losing the top side, and it's going to be forcing his flash.
Yeah, and again, that's just a situation where that's why Gibble was able to roam down, make that kind of play. He is so far ahead of Rodov that even when he comes back, he's like, oh, you're up to my tower. You're farming minions. You're trying to make me lose them. All right, say goodbye to your health bar. After that, he's just picking up the rest of that wave. He's going to push back out. Yes, he is down a little bit in tower plates, but he should easily be able to equalize that here. Again, he's got so much power at this point in the game, and he's absolutely dominating with what he has.
And along with that, teleport is up. Ocean Drake is available. No cannon barrage on Rodov's side. He does have teleport, though, but if a fight were to occur on the Ocean's going to be at a pretty big disadvantage, knowing that the cannon barrage is offline. Big team fight that can pin down APA and pin down some of these low mobility champions on Mountain side here. So without that, it's going to be looking pretty tough. They're going to be turning on to Yant to just kind of generate some space onto the bottom side river, which I definitely like. So as long as Mountain can look to advance forward, they should be able to get this Ocean Drake. And I don't think Ocean wants to contest at all.
Yeah, what would have been even worse for the side of Ocean is if they had contested that just a little bit earlier. That could have been an easy teleport behind them from Gibble. That ward is expired, but there's still a ward waiting in the wings for them. They are blocking out the curtain call with the Unbreakable Shield, and that will be an Ocean Dragon in the pocket of Team Mountain. Rodov trying to get whatever tower plates he can before it expires. Gibble trying to chase him down, but again, right now it is still just basically a wash across the map.
I am surprised that Gibble actually opted into that TP top side, because if anyone has listened to LS and listened to a lot of people here, if the top tier 1 were to fall down, Gibble could have just potentially set up a permafreeze at the inner turret, at the top inner turret, and make sure that Rodov doesn't get to lane at all at that point. And I'm surprised that he opted for the TP. I think that actually he missed out on the opportunity of just making sure that he suffocates Rodov the entire time. But burning that resource to protect the turret. Hopefully they get to salvage that and, break down that top tier 1 in favor for them and put pressure, especially around the Baron, around the 20-minute mark, but definitely a missed opportunity in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that, we pull a quick shot and say that TP sucked. I'm going to say that TP was ill-advised here. Just like if they try to execute it, this dive onto the top side, I don't think this is a great idea for the side of Ocean, because that's going to be a Rodov already dead. They're going to get Gibble on the backside, but already they did get the tower, they did get the kill. So, I guess in the end, it is going to be advantage over to Team Ocean.
Now, I wouldn't say that just yet, Hyper, because APA is hitting the mid-tier 1, and his Satchel Charge destroys turrets, so they can definitely equalize the turret trade, but also get better value because the mid-tier 1 falling generates access for Mount to set up vision on either quadrants of the map here. Unfortunately, doesn't manage to fall down as no one was helping out APA in the middle tier 1 take. But right now for Gibble, if I'm him, just set up a freeze, make sure that the team recognizes that, I'm going to be farming by myself. Rodov is probably going to be looking to just pick up some food scraps from everywhere else, from the jungle, from his other lanes, and maybe look to force something. And I think that could be a good way of Mountain, just to generate their topside lead. And take a look at that Satchel Charge, man. 20% health, it's already gone.
It absolutely is. It's one of Zig's most powerful features of his kit, is that he is able to execute those towers with the Satchel Charge. Does make him a very dangerous threat on the side lane because he can just, as you said, execute it from about 20%. But right now, speaking of getting executed, it looks like Spawn could be in a lot of trouble here. The curtain call has been opened up. One shot hits, third shot misses, and that will be the last one missing as well. So he is easily able to get out of that.
It is a trade of the Flash, however, Hyper, because if I'm Ocean, trading Flash, especially against Spawn, is a big victory. because it only means that you have to pay attention to when he arcane shifts. And once that ability is gone, you could definitely pounce onto him. You already see Ocean looking to pounce onto Mountain's bottom lane with the mid laner and NXI looking to collapse down. This is going to be a turret trade on the bottom tier 1, but right now Gibble is looking to actually just push his wave on the top side too.
Absolutely. So it looks like it will be a trade of pressure here, but the side of Mountain, I think they will eventually be able to recontest this if they can get a wave pushing. They know that NXI is there, so they're trying not to press their luck. However, now with NXI and Joey gone, they're just easily going to do this. But look at Yunbi taking a lot of damage, dealing a lot back. They know that he's a dangerous threat.
I really like how both these teams are actually looking to trade sides, but oh, NXI!
NXI with the insec. That's going to be an easy kill onto Plex, picked up by Yon, and just straight up advantages for the side of Team Ocean.
I don't know what Ocean is doing, but I feel like they're actually just looking to bully Plex, man. Plex is 0-4, NXI is 2-3. He wants to see if he can start bullying Spawn too, but you got to leave him alone, NXI. Stop looking to bully him. Oh, but they have to back off. He also gets a kill, man? Come on.
Yeah, he dodges out of the way of the Mega Inferno Bomb, manages to get the kill. Top side, that will be Rodov going down for his 3rd time of the game. The tower will fall in the bottom lane, but at the same time, it is all Ocean at the moment, because look at the flank that's coming out from Joey, and Zound cannot clear against Yunbi in the mid lane. This is going to be just straight advantage for Team Ocean, because on the top side, no tower was taken.
Yeah, but Yumbi is looking to get flanked right now from all members. You already see Gibble on the top side. He doesn't have that flash, but unfortunately with Yunbi flashing for himself, does he able to get out of dodge. Still, seesaw pressure on both sides, Hyper, is it's pretty crazy. They're looking to bully Rodov onto Mountain. They're looking to bully Plux on Ocean. Basically, whoever can bully the other person to submission is a game plan right now.
Yeah, it is. As right now, it does look like the side of Team Ocean are being able to bully their way in an advantageous position around the Dragon Pit. This Infernal Drake will be that, but look at that. That is going to be a blue buff steal from Zound, and he's going to also have the Rift Herald dropped. Joey might be the one in trouble here. The spear misses. Gibble is going in as the curtain call opens up. On the backside, the side of Ocean, they were waiting for the overexertion. We talked about those desperate plays, and it looks like that the side of Mountain might have doomed themselves in that one. Looks like that here comes the teleport from Rodov. They're starting up the Infernal Drake. Doesn't look like there's really any avenue for the side of Mountain to do it, especially without a jungler. That's going to be the Glacial Fissure popped. It is going to save them for a while. Joey goes in. Joey goes down. Looks like so much damage coming back from both teams, but it is a wash thus far. One more kill will actually give them an advantage. Kibble gets taken down by NXI, but now it's just 80 carries trying to clean up what they can. Yon, last man alive for the side of Ocean, and it will be only APA surviving. That will be a ace in favor of Mountain.
Man, when I thought Mountain was going to lose that fight, they managed to clutch it out off of APA and off of Spawn, the mid bot lane duo, making sure they're pumping damage out on the back line. This is a reason why people don't really want to play Ziggs, because those bombs are just so hard to land. But APA, landing a lot of those bombs means that his damage output skyrockets, and especially in that little choke means that he's able to just kind of sit there and just free fire, and that's what proved pivotal. Even though Zound died in the early stage of that fight, and even though they were looking to fight a 4-on-5, they managed to clutch it out. And honestly, that's a big victory, because right now, that's honestly a 1.5k gold lead in favor for Mountain.
Yeah, and they now not only have the tower advantage, they have gold, they also have the Drake advantage. The first time that they've had it, I believe, out of the 4 games that these two teams have played against each other thus far and completed. So even with it, looking back to the game that Mountain did win previously, guess what champion was captaining their mid lane?
Oh man, it was the Ziggs, I'm telling you.
It was the Ziggs. The Ziggs of APA and the Ash of Spawn carried them to victory in that game too. And now looking at it, APA is actually having an even better game, taking into this negative matchup, the one that he should by all rights be losing, and he is absolutely dominating it. He's up 40 CS almost. He's got the 2 kills. He's got the death cap already. Yeah,
I'll have to see what AP can do though, because if he got that victory last time, he could definitely look to get it again. Already have the death cap in his inventory, so these bombs will do a lot of damage, especially on the squishy members. Looking to see if they can capitalize on a Zound, but the backup wall does come through and it's away. But I don't know if they want to continue this fight.
Not really. They don't. They know that the Braum is waiting in the wings, and he does have the Glacial Fissure. So if they start it, they will finish it. Right now, Ocean trying to run away. Rodov going to get cut down on the side, and that's going to make it a 4v5 in favor of Mountain.
Hyper, I'm just going to make an observation real quick, right? We talked about bullying Rodov and bullying Plux. Now we see both these two having the same scoreline, 1-5-6. How coincidental, right? Crazy.
1, 5, and 6. It's just the bully numbers.
Yeah. For some
I have
reason,
no basis for that
number
whatsoever. It's just the magic numbers to look at and see, that person, they're having a bad time.
Definitely are, man. Hopefully, Roto can come back in this game and start being a big impact. And Cannon of course, is definitely going to be a bigger impact, especially in team fights when he starts rolling through. But it's looking pretty devastating. 2-level lead in this top lane and in nearly 80 CS lead in favor of him. Spawn trying to see if he can flex on a Yunbi, though.
Yeah, Yunbi going low, and that's part of the reasons why we don't see the Ahri as much, is that she's super squishy, and her dashes are super easy to sort of predict. They're very telegraphed, and that's the reason that we've only actually seen her twice in a Power 4 region in 2020, both of them in the LCS. I believe it was Ryu who took it, and if I remember correctly, in spring there was a game between Evil Geniuses and FlyQuest where he saw her. But across the rest of the world, nobody picks Ahri. And her ability to get bursted without much time to respond is one of the reasons why.
And that's where I wonder, Hyper, of the optimal way of building Ahri. Of course, you have the GLP with the glacial augments, so you can just start CCing everyone, and the economy of Ahri then starts shifting to be a little bit lower because you're only building 2 items that are less than 3,000 gold, compared to the Electrocute Ahri, where you could definitely one-shot some kids if you get charmed up, or you're able to just even one-shot them even without landing the charm too. So I actually kind of wish that Yummy did opt into the Electrocute build, knowing that he has NXI honestly Sin, knowing that he already has a lot of burst coming in from the rest of the squad here. And if you're able to just one-shot any one of these people, that's a big victory in Yunbi's eyes.
Absolutely. And also, I would like to say I was actually incorrect. It was Power of Evil who played it both times, but still, as you said there, right now the teams are positioning right up around this middle lane. They know that they want to fight. They just don't know how they want to start it, especially with the fact that Gibble has teleport and Rodov does not. Getting a pick onto APA could be the way to start up. That's going to be the Deadly Flourish and the damage coming through as Yunbi just gets killed off on the side, off screen. Wonder what happened there.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to catch it. But honestly, APA living with this flash and with that Seraph's Embrace means that he'll be able to fight another day. And also, actually, I don't even have to reset if he really doesn't want to, because those bombs are just so far range for anyone to deal with. And only NXI is the big flanker that can probably tackle him in. Perkall comes through, but I'm not sure if you want to take that spawn. In fact, NXI, I don't know if he wants to go in. Both these guys are just kind of staring each other in the face.
Yeah, no fear on these carries from Team Ocean. Neither member of 100 Thieves Next really wanted to give an inch there, as now Gibble trying to run away. That is a great Zenith Blade prediction by Joey. Wow, talk about some Mad Life moves there. That's going to be the easy kill onto Gibble from the pickup. But will the side of Ocean be able to survive the onslaught of Mountain here? They are a bunch of low health bars on the side, but there is no pressure from Mountain yet until they kill off Joey. Now Zound trying to chase down NXI. So thus far, it is a 1-for-1 top laner for support, but that does give Mountain a great way to turn onto this Infernal Drake.
Man, everyone got real hungry for Gibble right at the end. They wanted some reptile meat, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case because they managed to just kind of turn around on a Joey here. And it was honestly a really tough and nail-biting fight. At the end of it, there was a lot of blinking health bars on Ocean's side, but unfortunately APA and Spawn were unable to land their long-range ultimates onto the back line. So good patience from them, but that honestly could have gone towards Mon's way if they were able to collapse a little bit faster. The Spawn didn't take that charm in the face at right towards the end of it. In fact, Yummy still wants to fight.
He still wants to fight, but again, he's having a lot of trouble with it. Yawn is the one to actually pay for his sins. 80 carry in 2020, dying for the sins of your mid laner.
Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that, Hyper. Sometimes you don't want to fight. Sometimes Mon wants to see if they want to force some fights too.
Yes, they do. If they get this pick onto Joey, that is going to be an easy Baron pickup. They get it up. That is going to be Zound on a killing spree. He started 0-2. He's now 3-2-1. Great recovery here from the jungler of Mountain. NXI trying to see what he can get. But again, concussive blows is going to allow them to blow over NXI. This is now a absolutely free Baron for the side of Mountain. It will take them a little bit to get it down, though.
Yeah, but now I'm worried about Ocean and at this point. You know, Rodolph sitting 2, 5, and 6. NXI finally getting shut down. Yo, he actually even opted for the Triforce. I don't even see that hype, but look at that, man. He opted for the Triforce so he can solo carry this game. But, you know, at this point, it's very hard for any Lee Sin to solo carry any game unless you're like 22-5, you know? So hopefully NXI can come back. But at this point, again, 26 minutes in, you know, he's basically just a person who can try and see if he can find a kick on an APA or find a kick on anyone else. But it's very tough to get to the backside. Plux being the main bodyguard, if NXI were to go in, is really tough to go through. Gibble can also potentially be there, depending on how the fights were to start as well. And also APA has a Satchel Charge that can also just stop you from Sonic waving in. So those are big things we have to keep in mind. And I mean, just look at Plux, man. With this Baron buff, he's able to just walk confidently into the bottom quadrant.
Well, yeah, and you talked about NXI's build, but I think it's his teammate that has the more questionable item build. If I'm not mistaken, you don't traditionally build Static Shiv on Jhin. It doesn't really synergize with anything that he wants to do as a champion. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but you want to go for some more damage, or if you are going to get another crit item, you go for something like a Phantom Dancer with how much poke and how much, you know, all-in damage that the side of Mountain have. Would you not?
You definitely lose on damage, and you're 100% correct. But I think the reason why Jan opted for the Static Shift is he gets more mobility in his kit. You know, you see some low mobility AD carries opt in for the double zeal just so you get basically another tier 2 boots in your inventory. And especially with Jin's kit, whenever he crits, he gets more Moosey based on the amount of attack speed that he currently has. So maybe that's why Jan opted for the double crit here, to make sure he doesn't get hit by those mythic shots, to not get hit by those bombs. But honestly, I don't think it's going to matter because Mountain, they are knocking at Ocean's door.
Yeah, they just took down 2 inhibitors over the course of that conversation. There is just so much gold, so much pressure, and so much advantage on the side of Mountain. I mean, look at APA. He is up almost 70 CS. He's got 3 completed items just in his pocket. He's probably about to buy a 4th one, I'd imagine, just right off the bat. No, does not have a gold, surprisingly. But everyone on the side of Mountain is hitting those breakpoints that they really want to get to. Realistically, the only person that's sort of behind the curve is Zound, but it doesn't matter when you think of how ahead APA and Spawn are compared to the side of Ocean. They are doing so much, and that's not even to mention the fact that Gibble is just unstoppable on the side wave. You can't answer him without dying.
Yeah, I mean, he has a Death Stance already in his inventory, a full item up compared to Rodov, and, you know, Death Stance already picked up for Spawn too, you know, and we take a look at the heal cut, the Grievous Wounds on Ocean. They only have one of them, man. It's only on Jan, and he's only hitting one person. He's not going to be able to utilize those Grievous Wounds on all of them. It's not like he has a Hurricane built in his kit or a lot of area of effect abilities sit in. So it's definitely very tough to stop any sort of healing that comes through. And, you know, Zan also has a heal steroid as well for Gibble or for Spawn if fights were to come through. No one's able to answer this Crocodile. You know, Ocean, I feel like they're just slowly bleeding out right now.
Yeah, I don't even think it's slowly bleeding out at this point anymore, because when the side of Mountain takes something, they go all in and they take everything. Yeah. That is going to be the Mega Inferno Bomb coming in, barely missing the timing on Rodov. I think that they were going to try and get that stop. That way Gibble would just have a free wave to push up in the top side, but it did not work out, and now Gibble's going to be matched up. He's still going to take the fight against Rodov, and he is very clearly winning. Flash coming out from both top laners, but one of them flashed the wrong way, meaning that Gibble's not going to be able to finish off the kill. However, both of them do have the TP. They could be here, but the side of Ocean has to tend to the base. That's going to give Infernal Soul right over to Team Mountain.
And just imagine the comms that were going in at that time, where Rodov is saying, you know, I think I can defend this against Gibble, and Gibble's like, no, you can't. I'm going to try and fight you under the turret. And it was basically down to 1 HP right at the end. He had to flash out, and that basically just forced everyone from Ocean to just come in for the rescue, not only on the bottom wave where super minions are already hitting the bottom Nexus turret, but also just to make sure that Rodov doesn't die and Gibble doesn't manage to take the 3rd inhibitor up on the top side. So Ocean stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I think that that basically just secured them sitting in their grave. Infernal Soul is so hard to deal with because you have 4 squishy members, and also Leona, of course she is tanky, but she's also support. She's not as tanky as a top lane tank. So these Infernal procs are going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, Zound almost getting caught there, but the Infernal procs will even hurt even more when you consider how much harass the side of Mountain has. You have a Nidalee, you have a Ziggs, you have an Ezreal, so they'll be able to apply that Infernal burn from so far away, as now Gibble is here in a 2v1, but he's 2 levels up on both of them, and he just walks away. He doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, I was going to say, he can definitely take a 1 versus 2.
Oh,
I mean,
my
look at
God!
Yon. He almost got melted.
That health bar... blink and you'll miss it, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be the inhibitor dying in the top lane, as well as the side of Mountain. They look to try and end the game here. They want blood. They want this win, and they want to go in here probably off the back of this engage from Joey, but it's Yon who's in the front line. Zound does pop this on his Hourglass. I think actually Mountain might be the ones on the back foot here, but there's the damage coming out from Gibble. There's the damage coming out from Spawn. He's on a killing spree. NXI is trying, but he is going to be dying. And that will be the game in favor of Team Mountain. Stop watching the base. That's all you can really do if you're Yunbi. That's going to be another kill for APA. Game 2 going over to Mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a series.
Mountain coming back in clutch. APA 5-0-7. Spawn 7-3-8. Let me tell you, man, these two working so well together in these fights. And also the hero of the entire game, Mr. Gibble himself, handling is such a big pressure point to allow his teammates APA and Spawn to just do their thing on the backside. So credits to those 3 players in that match, man.
Yeah, and this is one of those games where you could tell, like, the numbers on the screen don't exactly tell the tale of the game, because by the numbers, you would think Gibble was dying a lot, that he was the most useless member of his team, when in reality, he was soaking so much pressure on that side wave. He was drawing so many members of Team Ocean over that it just allowed APA, allowed Spawn to pop off, allowed Zound to get back into the game and recover the deficit he had against NXI. I mean, and then it also allowed Flux to survive long enough to where he could become relevant in the fights and be that frontline beatball to protect all of his squishies. Stand behind Braum, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly, Happen. You know, it's just so tough to get to the backside when Braum is one of the best bodyguard supports in this current game right now. And, you know, of course, he did get bullied on in the early game, was 1-5-6 along with Rodov. You know, we talked a little bit about both these teams bullying one person specifically on either side. But, you know, when it comes to scaling, when it just comes to the 4-on-4 versus the 1-on-1, you know, Rodov needs some help. Whereas the 4, you can circumvent those issues through APA, through Spawn, through Zound, healing up your bodyguard, and it just worked out. That's why, you know, they take out this game too.
Yeah, and I think if you look at it, picks up Ari probably shouldn't return, because that was, it wasn't played poorly. It was just that the champion didn't really have any room to execute anything. There weren't really any spots for Yunbi to create any sort of advantages. There weren't any picks that Ari loves to make that were really available. Instead, it was all into the hands of the side of Team Mountain, and they were just able to run with it from there.
Again, Hyper, I wanted more damage from Yunbi. I actually wanted to go with the Electrocute, go full-on Lunzeko, and then build up to whatever ability power item that just lets him burst any one of these champions down. Like, imagine if a Charm landed onto Spawn, for sure he's going to go down. If it landed on APA, for sure he's going to go down. But opting into the GLP, which of course has a lot less damage compared to the Electrocute and full damage Yunbi, means that he is offering a lot more utility. But then, you know, because you don't really have a good source of DPS, you know, Lee Sin doesn't really have a lot in the later stages. Jin, of course, has 4 shots here. He has a lot of damage, but not consistent damage. And with Rodov being knocked out of the game here, you know, where are you going to get all that damage from? And imagine if that burst Ari came through. Imagine if he actually snowballed the lane and got those fights in the 2-on-2, landing those charms and just snowballing himself. Definitely could have been a different game. Yeah,
it's one of those situations where, unfortunately, Boris is the winner there, because you fall into the glacial augment trap. You think that you have to build it when you end up having sort of that other side laner go negative, that is. And as a result, you do end up leaving your team in a disadvantage because you do not have the damage to contribute. But with that game out of the way, we were going to go to a short break here at the Honda Scouting Grounds. We will be right back with Game 3 between Ocean and Mountain. It's the decider, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.